A reading from the book of the prophet Isaiah, chapter 17, proclamation about Damascus. Damascus will soon cease to be a city. It will become a heap of ruins. Its towns, abandoned forever, will be pastures for flocks. There they will rest with no one to disturb them. Ephraim will be stripped of its defenses, and Damascus of its sovereignty, and the remnant of Aram shall be treated like the glory of the Israelites, declares the Lord Sabaoth. When that day comes, the glory of Jacob will be brought low. His body fat will waste away, as when a reaper gathers in the standing corn, harvesting the ears of corn with his arm, or when they glean the ears in the valley of Rephaim, nothing will remain but pickings. As when an olive tree is beaten, 2 or 3 berries left on the topmost bough, 4 or 5 berries on the branches of the tree, declares the Lord, the God of Israel. That day everyone will look to their Creator, and their eyes will turn to the Holy One of Israel. No one will look to the altars, the work of his own hands, or to what his own fingers have made, the sacred bowls and incense altars, against the gardens of Adonis. That day their strong cities will be abandoned, as were those of the Hivites and Amorites, which they abandoned at the advance of the Israelites, and there will be desolation. For you have forgotten the God of your salvation, and failed to keep the rock of your refuge in mind. You plant pleasure gardens, you sow exotic seeds. The day you plant them, you bring them into shoot, and next morning your seedlings are in flower. But the harvest will vanish on the day of disease and incurable pain. Disaster, the thunder of many peoples. They thunder like the thunder of the seas, the roar of nations. They roar like the roar of mighty waters. The nations roar like the roar of many waters. He rebukes them, and they flee far away, driven like chaff on the mountains before the wind, like whirling dust before the storm. At eventide all is terror. By morning nothing remains. Such is the lot of those who plunder us, such the fate of our despoilers. The word of the Lord. A reading from the book of the prophet Isaiah, chapter 18, proclamation against Cush. Woe to a land of the warring locust, which is beyond the rivers of Cush, which sends ambassadors by sea in boats of reed on the surface of the sea. Go, swift messengers, to a nation tall and smooth-skinned, to a nation feared far and near, a nation mighty and masterful, whose land is cut through by rivers. All you who inhabit the world, you who people the earth, when the signal is hoisted on the mountains, you will see. When the ram's horn is sounded, you will hear. For this is what the Lord said to me: calmly I shall look down from my dwelling, like the burning heat in the daytime, like a dewy mist in the heat of harvest. For before the harvest, when the buds have gone and the blossom is ripening into grape, He will cut off the shoots with pruning knives, cut off and remove the branches. All shall be left to the mountain birds of prey and the wild animals. The birds of prey will live on them in summer, and all the wild animals in winter. At that time, an offering will be brought to the Lord Sabaoth on behalf of a nation tall and smooth-skinned, a nation feared far and near, a mighty and masterful nation whose land is cut through by rivers, to the place where the name of the Lord Sabaoth dwells, Mount Zion. The word of the Lord.